1.5 year journey that I had with my son made me realize is that just by telling him khana nahi waste karna
is not enough.
it doesn't do anything. He will still waste because I'm saying nahi karna, wo karega. Nahi khana mujhe. But if he's experiencing that entire journey, that आज बीज लगाया, एक हफ्ते के बाद he saw a small tiny thing coming out, and then getting a tomato, how can he even think of wasting that one precious tomato that he has grown?
Correct.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Unbox with Tunvey, a podcast where we have conversations that inspire. We talk to people who are leading unconventional lives, have taken some bold decisions, and are committed to living up to their highest potential and making a difference in this world. Today, I have with me someone who's making a difference at the grassroots level, literally, right? She's an urban farmer. She's an education evangelist. She is the founder of Sow Good Learning Farm and is committed, I think, to helping people live in a nature-friendly manner. Please help me welcome Pragati Chaswal.
Thank you so much, Tanvi. That was a very warm and beautiful welcome.
I'm just so glad that you're here. We've known each other for many years.
Many years, yes.
And every time we speak, we just can't stop talking.
Yes.
So I thought it's time to document it on camera.
So nice. Yes, let's do that.
So tell me, I know you've probably answered this question many times, but you took a transition from advertising to becoming an urban farmer of sorts.
Yeah.
And I know the majority of our conversation is going to be something else, but just for the understanding of our viewers, just tell me how this transition happened.
So I worked in advertising for close to 10, 11 years. And the transition actually happened because when my son was born, naturally I wanted to give more time to him. And initially when he was small, I was working a lot. And those 1.5 years, I did not give enough time to him. And that's when I realized that, it's important now because I was seeing some behavior. I was seeing some changes in my family. I was seeing something missing. And that's what made me take a step back. And I decided that, instead of working full time, let me become a consultant. Let me at least try to work maybe just 2 days in a week and not 7 days in a week, which most of people who work in advertising, they know. There are no timings. You just have nothing but work. So that's when I decided to take a step back and spend more time at home. And naturally, this was the first time, when I was spending time at home with my son. And I saw that, the food eating habits, his general behavior. So all of that led me to take this decision of leaving the advertising life and doing something else in life.
So when you started farming and you started from home, essentially, you just started integrating small changes in your own home.
Yeah.
Was it easy? Because I know my daughter's been involved with your community for many years.
Yeah.
She volunteers and she started saying, okay, no foil, no cling film, let's start composting. But sustaining even composting is so difficult at home. There's a space constraint and then you don't know how to do it. And people at home don't always buy into why you need to do this.
Correct. So, Tanvi, when I started doing this, from advertising, which does not give you any time to think about anything, to spending time at home and, becoming more and more conscious of your own lifestyle was not easy. I started growing in my house on my terrace because of a pain point that my son was not eating properly. He would see spinach and he would say, nahi khana. He would see a little bit of tomato in his dal and he would say, isko nikalo. And that was a big pain point for me as a mother that, ho kya raha hai? So as a creative solution, I came up with this thought that what if we start growing vegetables on our terrace? And I had no idea about how to grow things. And out of anxiety, out of anger, out of, this concern, I took up whatever recyclable things were there at home, um, like a bucket, a bottle, and collected mitti and khad from a park and started growing in that. And when suddenly everything started, every plant started growing, is when my journey started. That,
Wow.
soil gave me this opportunity to connect with the food, connect my son with his food, and he started eating.
Yeah.
He started appreciating what he was growing.
True.
That small step. And then from there, it led to, what am I eating at home? What am I, through that eating habits, what am I wasting? What am I bringing inside my house? Whatever I'm bringing inside my house, is that good for me? Is that good for my family? And then it came, is that good for the environment? And when we started growing, we also realized that plants need compost. And for compost, I don't have to go out anywhere. I can make compost at home in a small gamla. So it was that process that led me to make compost at home. And trust me, it's not difficult. You just have to spend 10 minutes in a day consciously thinking about putting all the green waste from your kitchen into something.
So
So,
basically, your leftover vegetables, peels,
yeah.
etc. What about waste food? Leftover food,
So no, so leftover food should not go inside the compost.
compost.
Yeah.
Got
So,
it.
that was again another consciousness. Take what you want to eat in your plate. What also earlier I was doing is I was serving Neil everything because I wanted him to eat that. So slowly it shifted to, what you take in your plate, you have to eat that. And I also started studying. What I realized is that, our city has multiple landfills,
True.
है ना? And imagine what constitutes the bigger component of that landfill.
Plastic.
No,
Waste food.
waste food.
Wow.
It's the green waste. 60% of our landfill is made of green waste.
Which
It's
can be
not.
composted.
Yes, imagine. And non recyclable is not more than 18%.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So
And
actually, what we think we're throwing away is no big deal, contributes to so much of the
exactly.
landfills. I
Exactly.
remember you and Inayat, my daughter, you guys had gone to
A landfill.
a landfill,
Yes.
and Inayat came back flabbergasted, and she
Yeah.
said it's like a mountain of
Exactly. We
garbage.
took our car on that mountain of garbage. We drove on top of it.
Yeah.
It's that big.
She came back and she said one of the first things you have to stop doing is putting food waste inside plastic.
Yeah.
She said, you don't understand, the
Yeah.
food waste makes the plastic leach chemicals
Exactly.
into our water.
Yeah.
So throwing plastic separately and throwing food waste separately
Yeah.
can save us so much.
So much. Imagine. And the fact is that all our children are learning this in their textbooks through a curriculum that has been given to them. But practically, we are not seeing it.
Because they
We are
don't
not.
understand the implications of what
Yes,
it
we are
means.
not experiencing it.
In fact, I think these trips to the landfill should become mandatory for schools.
Yes.
Instead of taking them to Rail Museum and Doll Museum and Museum of Natural History, which are important.
Important, yes.
But I'm saying that along with that,
Yeah.
one trip to the landfill to really
Exactly.
know and
At least go and
experience.
see. Because once you go to the landfill, you see that each and every component that you see in that huge landfill has come from your house.
Yeah.
Not even from anybody else's house, but your own house.
I think it can be very hard-hitting
Hard-hitting.
experience that can genuinely create behavioral change.
Absolutely, Tanvi. I totally agree with you. So what this, 1.5 year journey that I had with my son made me realize is that just by telling him khana nahi waste karna,
Is not enough.
it's not, it doesn't do anything. He will still waste because I'm saying nahi karna, wo karega.
हाँ.
Nahi khana mujhe.
Correct.
But if he's experiencing that entire journey, that आज बीज लगाया, एक हफ्ते के बाद he saw a small tiny thing coming out. And then getting a tomato,
हाँ.
how Can he even think of wasting that one precious tomato that he has grown?
Correct. That is true. No, but I've seen that change in Inayat as well,
Hmm.
because she will put into the plate only what she wants at that moment. And I
Exactly.
keep saying, or hello. She said, pehle ye khatam karne do, then I
Exactly.
will take more. So I'm
Yeah.
learning more from her
Yeah.
in how she's
Yeah.
eating.
In fact, about Inayat, I remember this one very beautiful incident. Again, we were talking about foil.
Mm.
And I was telling kids that, how unimportant this one thing is. Why do we need it?
Yeah.
And why did it even come into existence? And Inayat came and she said,
Mm.
in my house and in our work, there is a lot of foil that we
Yeah.
use. I'm going to make it zero foil. And I think Inayat was what, 10?
Yeah, that time, 6 years ago.
6 years ago or 11, maybe,
Yeah.
not more than that. And within a month, she made sure that there is no foil visible in her kitchen.
Yeah.
She changed that entire system of packaging from her business, and the packaging became sustainable. There was no foil being used in
That's
the
true. She's been
packaging.
on our cases,
I know.
and when she was young, she would pick up the foil and hide it.
I
That's
know.
how she started
Yes.
it. It became a hide and seek thing
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
somebody from the staff and we'll go looking for it. She said, "No, it's gone.
It's
It's
gone.
gone."
Imagine.
We went back to
Yeah.
napkins,
Yeah.
which is how we our food used to be
Yeah.
packed
Yeah.
in cloth napkins. A
Correct.
sandwich would be put
Yeah.
inside a cloth napkin
And
and
it's
put in
so
your
much
tiffin.
nice.
Yeah,
Nicer for our own health, for
that's true.
environment.
That's true.
Yeah.
One of the things I've seen you do
Hmm.
is, you know, the community that you've created. When I see you interacting with young kids,
Yeah.
you're fully present. Like you live very mindfully. When you're speaking to a kid, that child feels that there is nobody else except me, Pragati Auntie, speaking to me.
Yeah.
how how have you managed to do that? Because I think most of us are here and then in 10 other places mentally at the same time, and I think the reason So Good has become such a beautiful
Yeah.
community is because of you.
I'm feeling so happy and proud at this moment, Tanvi. Seriously, I mean, hearing this from you, it's actually making me feel that kuch acha hua hai. Um, I don't know. I think it's just me.
Hmm.
I see a child, I want to be with the child, and I want to make the child feel
Hmm.
that, in our consciousness, in our being, nature is such a beautiful part.
That's true.
I think I just want every child to see and feel that beauty of nature. And with that objective, um,
It just comes.
yeah, yeah,
No, it's a very beautiful thing that you do. The just to be present and listening
yeah,
and being there in the moment. I think that living mindfully goes a long way
that's
into
true.
creating.
And I also feel that, like you said, listening is one thing that children are not getting these days, no?
Yeah.
I mean, they talk, but there are so many beautiful, interesting, important things that they say. So, how do you listen to a child
Mm,
and in that listening, bring their consciousness and awareness towards where they are standing?
mm.
Can they feel their environment more? So, I approach everything from that consciousness.
No, that's a very beautiful thing. In fact, I remember when we spoke for the very first time many, many
Yeah,
years ago. The reason I wanted Inayat, when I heard about So Good and said that, it's a children's
yeah,
learning farm and they teach farming, something clicked in me. I didn't know
yeah,
what was going to
yeah.
happen. But one of the things that I had experienced in life was that we all need to know there's something called instant gratification, where 2 minutes, everything in
Hmm.
2 minutes,
Exactly.
instant. And then there are certain things that only happen when you delay the gratification. It takes time. You put in the effort today,
Hmm.
you reap the results at a
Yeah,
later date.
yeah,
When you're putting in the effort is not when you see the result.
right.
But most people, because they don't see immediate results, give up
Yeah,
putting in the effort. Now I was just thinking, how do I teach an 8, 9, 10-year old this concept?
yeah,
And for me, farming was a very natural way to
Yes.
bring this,
Yeah.
saying that okay, farming is a great way to teach
Yeah.
patience and great way to teach
Absolutely.
delayed gratification कि भाई आज बीज लगाओगे पता नहीं कब होगा, you know,
शायद नहीं भी होगा.
शायद नहीं भी होगा.
Yeah.
And I think that helped a lot. You know, there are
Yeah.
times when I tell Inayat, अरे भाई तुम्हारे गाजर नहीं आई फार्म से या करेला नहीं आया. She says, पता है कितना टाइम लगता है, अभी wait.
Imagine your child coming and telling you or giving patience to you.
Yeah, no, and I also see that in her, in other areas where, you know, she wanted to achieve something and she said, doesn't matter, I know that I'll put in the effort for a month and it will happen,
It'll happen.
or I'll work for 6 months, it'll happen.
Yeah.
So that's become a natural way of thinking.
Yeah.
But in your experience, this has just been my experience.
Yeah.
But and my trigger to get involved, you know, with
Yeah.
nature more. But you work with so many schools right now. You have, you know, you have students in government schools,
Yeah.
private institutions,
Yeah.
plus you have the So Good Farm where kids
Yeah.
come and learn. Are you able to, when you meet people, are you able to tell who spends time in nature versus not? Like, is there a difference?
That's a very interesting question. I think people who do spend time with nature, working with their hands, I feel they're far more calmer. Um, there is a level of what I call tehrav in them, um, which used to be there in people. Um, you know, that tehrav is very much visible in the way they talk. Um, that that just feeling of being connected from within, that's quite visible.
Yeah, I think there's a grounding that
Yeah,
happens, you know.
there's a lot of grounding that happens.
There's science around it as well. They say
Yeah,
walk on grass,
yeah.
be with nature, it
Just
calms you
touch
down.
soil.
Yeah.
There scientifically it has been proven that soil, if you touch soil, the qualities make you become more patient.
Wow.
Yeah. So the program, the So Good program, the school curriculum that has been developed, it has taken us 3 to 4 years to put together that curriculum that we take to our government schools and private schools. It has three pillars. One is nature, consciousness, which we, bring to children through the process of growing your own food. Once you grow your own food, you experience that patience, etc. Along with that, we integrate their academics. Um, Topics, subjects that a child is learning inside the classroom, they come and experience it. For example, photosynthesis,
Yeah.
the life cycle of a plant, pH of soil, everything they experience there.
Wow.
Not just that, even mathematical concepts,
Calculating the size of the
yeah,
the
yeah,
khet or
yeah,
the carry.
and even skip counting.
Wow.
How many seeds you're sowing, putting in the soil, etc., and keeping a track of that. In addition to that, one of the biggest points that we focus on through the program is values. What we also call social emotional learning. All of that we integrate into the program for children. How do I generate respect?
Yeah,
A
how do you
group
teach a
of
concept like respect?
Yes,
It's a very esoteric concept.
exactly.
To teach it.
It's so easy to say that you have to respect your partner, but how do I show that respect?
Yeah.
So if a group of 40 children are coming to a small farm and they have to work together
In a small space.
in that small space, and if I don't respect you, how will I work with you?
Yeah.
And the chances of stepping on a plant, etc., just increases.
हाँ मतलब लड़ाई हो जाएगी ये मेरा है.
Yeah. But then Mera Tera, to we have to move ahead
Head
from
of that,
there.
yeah.
The first thing that we do is sharing.
Yeah.
And how do you respectfully, talk to your friends? How do you develop patience? How do you, वो एक शिकायत लगाने वाली habit होती है. How do you move away from there? So the community word that you used, we actually believe that we are creating a community where all people like you, me, Inayat, we're all coming together to love nature. We also believe that, we all protect things that we love.
So if you fall in love, you will protect the environment.
All
But
of
first, you have to
us,
fall in
you
love.
have to fall in love. The first step is to fall in love. The moment you love something, and the biggest example of what all of us love in today's day and time is our cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody would ever let the cell phone fall. अगर cell phone गिर गया तो मतलब I'm
हाँ
handicapped,
मतलब
no?
भाई प्यार
Exactly.
मोहब्बत से उसको
Yeah,
जगाया जाता है.
yeah. So even if I have to give my phone away, I ensure that all the data has been transferred.
Yeah.
So if I love nature, I'll ensure कि जो मैंने पौधा लगाया है ना सिर्फ वो ठीक रहे, जो मिट्टी उस पौधे को बड़ा कर रही
वो
है
भी ठीक रहे.
वो ठीक रहे.
Correct.
Because it's the soil, no? And all our bad habits are actually going into the soil,
It's
be
true.
it air pollution, plastic, shampoo usage, dishwashing, soap, etc. Everything goes into the soil.
True. In
So,
fact, recently I saw a film called Dark Waters,
yes,
and I hadn't seen it,
yeah, yeah,
and when I saw it, that the DuPont
yeah,
company
yeah,
created Teflon and
yeah,
non-stick. I'd heard non-stick is very bad,
exactly,
very
yeah,
bad. बड़े
yeah,
सालों से सुन रहे हैं non-stick छोड़ दो.
yeah,
But I think when I saw that film, I
yes,
realized the damage this
yeah,
one company has single-handedly
yeah,
done through
yeah,
Teflon.
yeah,
And they said 99% of creatures and 100% of humans
yes,
have C8, which is
yeah,
this which our body can't break down. They have this carcinogenic chemical inside us. And I was just thinking that, the next generation's got to be better than that. They really,
exactly,
they've got
yeah.
to, unfortunately, they have to clean up the mistakes of our generation.
That's absolutely true, Tanvi. And what I also believe is, I mean, a lot of people ask me, why do I work with children? Why not adults? Because they are the decision makers. They are the ones who actually buy products. But I believe if I work with Inayat and many more Inayats, they are the ones who will become decision makers very soon.
True.
And if I really want things to change, habits to change, it's the child.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're all stuck in our ways.
Yeah.
But maybe better behavior can be inculcated at a younger age.
Absolutely. And things that are taught in schools, they stay with them. School is at the center of every community.
true.
A parent will listen to a teacher. Child anyway listens to a teacher. So if a teacher, if it becomes a part of their growing up, it will be in their habit. This is the way of life then. I am growing up protecting soil. I am growing up falling in love with nature. So I'll grow up to be that human being. Na? There is no other option. I mean, today's time, I hear so many children say, I want to become a teacher, I want to become a dancer, a sports person. But nature does not exist
Or
in our,
feature in anywhere. Well, I'm sure there'll be a few nature lovers coming out of the So
Absolutely.
Good community.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to ask you, and I think, you started this off just as a passion project,
Yeah.
but today it's a startup that's got funding.
Yeah.
Was it something that you had in mind? And nowadays when you hear the word startup, you automatically jump to funding. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are starting startups only
Yeah.
to get funding.
Yeah.
What's your whole attitude on So Good being a startup versus the whole culture of VCs and this space? What's your take on it?
So I'll tell you how So Good started and how we got our first funding. Um, it started as a passion and it's still a passion. I'm approaching it actually from that cause perspective. Uh, I feel it is something that is needed. It should exist. And for its existence, there are some things that are needed. Money is one of them. And there are, so Good is a not-for-profit organization. So, how do I get money to make sure that the program reaches, the reach increases? Um, our first funding was putting together all the expenses that we have made or are going to make in the next 6 months, putting that budget together and asking the So Good parents that, this is going to be our expense. In addition to the fees that you are paying me, please make sure that all of us come together to meet these expenses. And the parents themselves divided that entire amount into a group of, I think, 22 people, and they all contributed towards it.
Wow.
Yeah, so my expenses for the first 6 months were covered because parents came together to do it.
It's almost like crowdfunding.
It was crowdfunding without me even knowing that, a word like crowdfunding exists.
Exists.
It was just like we were talking initially, intuition. I knew that money is needed for the existence of this project. Uh, when school started coming in, and I was very keen on government school children getting to experience this entire program. For that, you definitely need more funding. And that's where, somebody connected me to CSR funds.
Got it.
Yeah. So the budget was done with full honesty that, to make the program sustain itself, you need funds. And that's when we started approaching CSR organizations and we got our first round of funding.
So for you, it's because it's already it's a non-profit, so you're not really looking at anything other than creating impact and having
Yes.
enough funds to be able to create that impact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I see these days there are organizations that are genuinely doing good work, and then there are organizations that are doing it solely for the first round, second round of
Correct.
funding, and I don't know whether that's a sustainable, healthy way
Yeah.
to go about it.
I'm not sure about the healthy way for sure. Yeah. Yeah, because I also sometimes, then what happens is the organizations who are there with the purpose of raising funds, um, the image, the picture that gets created actually camouflages or overpowers people who are trying to actually create some sort of impact. So that's where I feel, how do you approach such things? Because there are some programs, some projects that exist for the sole purpose of bringing that impact, that change.
No, so I think as long as you have your heart in the right place, and I
Right.
think I think the community of So Good does, and you do,
Yeah.
because like you said, you do a lot of stuff instinctively
Yeah.
and with intuition and
Yeah.
guidance, and I think for you it's more of a purpose than
Yeah.
profit, right?
Yeah.
But in all of your working with schools, especially government schools, is there an
Yeah.
impact that you made that stands out in your mind? Something that you feel like, my God, that was like a true representation of what this project is capable of.
Um, a few very beautiful cases. Um, One such case is of a girl, grade 8 or 9, I think. And in that class, um, other girls never used to talk to her because she had major anger issues to the extent that she would just start hitting somebody,
Wow.
slapping other girls because she was just not able to control her anger.
Mm.
And whenever we enter a new classroom, we sit with teachers and we understand what are the challenges that you're facing. And this was told to us. So we consciously started giving opportunities to this girl um, for expressing her thoughts. And to the extent that whenever there was a new kyari to be made, she would say, I will do it. So in a way, she would take a khurpi and start digging and making that kyari. And then after 6 to 8 months, and she came and told me, Didi, अब मुझे गुस्सा नहीं आता है. So I mean, that was a very, uh, it's
Yeah,
extraordinary
beautifully.
feeling for me to have a child coming to me and saying मुझे गुस्सा नहीं आता है. So we sat with her and we understood क्यों क्या था पहले और अब क्यों नहीं आता था. It was that opportunity that this child got from a home environment which is different to coming to a school where she was not maybe heard, understood, to coming to an open space
Yeah.
where she's showing her talent.
And has
And
a way to express in whatever way.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that was one very, I mean, that incident stayed with me. Then another boy who was aggressive, and how
Again.
it all turned around for him, and he became the leader of a class, and wherever there was a science exhibition or something, teachers used to start taking, I mean, they started taking him to those
And these are government
exhibitions.
schools.
These are government schools.
No, I know that one of the schools that you worked with also increased attendance.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So this one particular school, a lot of children came from SOS villages or troubled background. And when we entered the school, we were told that, register May, you will see 40 children, but not more than 10 to 12 kids come to the school. From that first day, two teachers using So Good as the bait, because from 12, almost 38, 40 full attendance started happening on the days when So Good was coming. So that was a very big thing, that 80 to 100%.
From 30-40% attendance to
Actually, it
almost
was even less than 30,
30%.
40. To all children wanting to come to school.
As
And yeah, so then we used to go there on Wednesdays. So on Wednesdays, everybody, full attendance, nicely dressed, oiled hair, combed hair, and all of that would happen. So that was happening, and then obviously teachers started using this as a opportunity to tell them that if you are only coming on this day, no So Good class for you.
So then the attendance increased
For
through
the
the days.
entire week. Yeah.
That's a wonderful. If people who are living in urban cities, who are not necessarily, don't have access to big gardens and parks, how can people start
Yeah.
becoming more nature aware
Hmm.
and more connected to nature? What's the advice you would give?
Um.
Because the benefits are innumerable, from
Absolutely.
anxiety and stress management
Yeah.
to better health to better
Yeah.
immunity. The science is
Yeah. Yeah.
vast. So,
Yeah.
how should people increase or
I would say
connect?
a few everyday habits that we can bring in. Habits which are for yourself to take care of your anxiety, calmness, etc., and for the environment. Um, One, if we can all start having small planters in our home, and we are just watering them on a daily basis based on the need of that plant.
मतलब पानी खुद दे दो.
पानी खुद दे दो, पानी के लिए माली को मत रखो. Just get that one or two plants in your home. Start with that. And when you have that plant, instead of throwing away your banana peel, just put that in your soil. So consciously bring these small habits into your own lifestyle, and from there you'll see the amount of changes that will automatically start coming in.
Wow.
Yeah.
And can people grow something small in a balcony,
Yeah.
or, what can they do to start growing some food that's
Um,
easy to grow initially?
So one of the things that we do for any the person who wants to initiate is grow your own microgreens.
Okay.
Growing microgreens is a very simple process. Again, it needs you to be more sincere towards it. Take care of your planter on a daily basis. Take a small container. This container can be, small black containers in which you get your food when
Got it.
delivery, etc. And take soil and compost. Just mix the two. Fill the container, uh, not to the full, but let's say 70%. And take seeds from your home, mustard seeds, methi seeds,
मतलब राई भी डाल सकते हो, राई भी
राई,
उगेगी.
सरसों.
हम तो सोचते राई सिर्फ तड़के में जाती है.
नहीं, तो आप वो जो कंटेनर लोगे ब्लैक कलर का जिसमें आप मिट्टी खाद डालोगे, उसमें राई, सरसों या सौंफ को स्प्रिंकल करो. तो वो स्प्रिंकल हो गए. उसके ऊपर कवर इट अगेन विद सॉइल,
थोड़ी सी.
थोड़ी सी, कि वो बीज दिखे ना. And then sprinkle water on it. And leave it near your windowsill, not in the balcony or anything. You just don't need to do that. Leave it on your kitchen slab also if you want. And observe that container on a daily basis. Imagine that's your khet. So consider that to be your khet. Little mini
6x4 khet.
Correct. So that's your mini khet. Take care of that.
And water it every day.
Observe your soil.
Okay.
Whenever you feel
कि सूख रही है.
सूख रही है, तो फीलिंग इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट टर्म हियर. फील इट. जहाँ पे आपको लगे सूख रही है, आप उसमें पानी स्प्रिंकल कर दो. एंड इफ यू रियली वांट टू टेक केयर ऑफ योर मिनी खेत, टेक अ banana peel, put it in a bottle like this overnight, and then use that water to water your kid.
अच्छा
Extra
मतलब
nutrition for your plant.
ओ सो बेसिकली केले का छिलका पानी में डाल दूं और ओवरनाइट सोक करके वो पानी देन आई
पानी
वाटर
आप,
दैट
हाँ.
गॉट इट
Yeah.
Got it. And what do you do with the microgreens? Since we are
Yeah.
having a detailed discussion,
Correct.
might as well clarify
Absolutely.
that.
So microgreens will take about 7 to 10 days to grow big.
Okay.
3 to 4 inches big. When they are 3 to 4 inches big, just cut them and wash them, eat them raw. You can put it in your sandwich. You can make a salad out of it.
धनिया के
And
जैसे भी डाल सकते हैं on
धनिया
दाल
के
या
जैसे
वैसे
भी डाल सकते हो, किसी भी चीज धनिया के अगर माइक्रोग्रीन बना रहे हो, so use that to sprinkle.
And what's the advantage in terms of eating microgreens vis-a-vis?
Many, a lot. I mean, it's actually full of nutrition. It's said that microgreens have much more nutrients as compared to a fully grown plant.
Because it's the same plant nutrition in a
In packed
condensed
into, yeah.
version, packed into a
Yeah,
little
so
bit.
a seed has life force inside it. The moment that life force comes out, that's when it has maximum nutrition.
And you're
So when
eating it at that point.
and you're eating many more of that, a katori full of that together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super fabulous. I'm going to ask you a set of questions. So this is
Okay.
something new we've started.
Okay.
It's called a rapid fire. I know it sounds a little cheesy, but it's fun.
Okay.
So we've just recently integrated it.
Okay, let's start. Then.
So I'm
Let's
going
do
to
it.
ask you a few questions,
Okay.
right? Do you like dogs or cats? I know you're an animal lover.
Dogs. I love dogs.
Okay, okay. Crazy ad campaign that you ever worked on? Do you remember something which was mad, crazy?
It was for Wash and Law. Yeah, it was a very crazy, intense campaign that we did, in which we had to sell a lot of, LASIK machines. So yeah, that was a very crazy campaign that we worked on.
Favorite music to play while you're doing kheti badi?
CSNY.
Ah, if you could invite 3 people, living or dead, to a farm to table dinner,
Okay.
who would they be?
Shah Rukh Khan.
It was his birthday recently.
I know. So Shah Rukh Khan for sure. I think I'll call my husband also. He's really into this. And then I'll call one of my kids from the farm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay. One sustainable living practice everyone should adopt.
Composting. No doubt about that. Composting.
Compost your green waste.
Absolutely. Any peels that you generate in your house, please compost it.
Got it. What's the most exotic plant you've ever grown?
Artichoke.
Wow.
Yes.
Was it easy?
Growing was easy. Harvesting and eating was not so easy. Yes.
So if every vegetable had a personality, and I'm sure they
Oh,
do,
yes.
what would be your vegetable? Like, which one would you resonate
Karela.
with? Karela?
Yes.
Why? I have to ask.
I love Karela. It's such an underrated vegetable. And actually, it's a fruit. So when I tell somebody Karela is not a vegetable, it's a fruit. And the health, yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
So anything that has seeds inside it is actually a fruit, no? It can,
By that logic, tomato is also
Yeah.
fruit. Oh,
Kheera is also fruit, pumpkin is also fruit, and Karela is also fruit.
oh.
Yeah.
Gajar is not a fruit.
Gajar is not.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. So Karela.
You know, जो मैं दिखती हूँ वो मैं हूँ नहीं. Yeah, you don't know what's inside me.
No, yeah. Surprises.
So you have, I know many dogs at the farm.
Yes.
Which dog has the, wackiest personality?
Oof. No doubt, mouse.
Okay.
Mouse, my God. Yes.
If Mouse ran the farm for a day or for a week, what
Yes.
changes do you think Mouse would make?
I think there'll be a lot of play area, play zone in the farm. Everybody would just come play and run around. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been such a blast, Pragati, having
Thank you,
you
Pragati.
with us on
It was
that,
fun.
on that funny, witty, dog lover note. We call this conversation to a halt, but it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you, Tanvi. It was lovely.
Well, that's it on this episode of Unbox. We'll catch you on another episode soon.